The black crunch and shift of squandered coal beneath the horse. It travels up into Keg's thighs, into the sway of her narrow hips. Wind lifts her fringe and stiffens her cheeks, whips a shimmer to the surface of her soft blue eyes. The grey sky above her remains solid, unmoving. It is a single pane of native cloud, a leaden weight under which the world toils, bending backs until there is knotted as wands of driftwood. Keg knows the measure of this suffering. She has seen it in everyone here at the camp, in the stooped and blighted figure of her own Da. But there are also those days when the sky can span blue and cloudless as far as she can see. And there arrives the feeling inside her that something bigger is at work, that there's something else out there waiting for her. She has tried to explain it, to dress it in words, but the feeling shrugs off everything she throws at it, refuses to be made into a thing she can handle, a thing she can own. The salt-stiff leather of the reins twines around her pale fingers. She pats Immy's neck, runs a palm down the coarse spill of her mane. The poor beast's getting old now. She spent most of her days lugging her Da in the cart behind her, the waves of the sea crashing against her strong, muscled legs, spindrift frosting her shivering flanks, the tide snaring the shag of her fetlocks with seaweed. Keg can still remember when Immy's coat was sleek and white, when she would frisk about in the marbled surf and her Da would shout for her to still herself, broadening his stance so as not to topple into the water. But by the end of each day, her coat would be streaked black by the coal, and now, all these years later, she's turned a permanent ashy grey. Keg brings her to a stop, looks down the track to the beach where she can see a portion of the sea, washing green and grey and raking its white nails up and down the black shore. She's looking for Welty. Her Da has told her that her brother is down here, warned her that if she doesn't go and fetch him and bring him back for his tea, then there'll not be a bite left for either of them. She'd thought he'd be here at the very eastern edge of the camp, where the gravel gives way to stands of dry grass and a gentle roll of dun-coloured dunes, stacks of smoke from the power station towering darkly in the distance. He likes to bring his toys down here, to drive his little cars over the rough ground, to dig holes with sticks and bury his favourite stones and shells. But he's nowhere to be seen. She heels Immy's flanks and moves her on. The light is now waning, the sky just beginning to purple at its fringes. The wind is also picking up, sharpening the blade of itself, skimming along the length of her body. She can hear the sea over the brow of the dune, its vast, unending roar. She'll be able to hear it from her bed in the caravan tonight. Sometimes it comforts her and lulls her into a deep and dreamless sleep. But she's looked at the maps at school, has seen the sheer size of it, and it can frighten her too. The depth and the darkness, all that space, and almost none of it known. How is anything truly known? This is one of those thoughts that she sometimes has, that seems to be both too big and too small. Whenever she feels like she's close to an answer, it either throws a shadow over her so vast that she loses her way, or it slips between her fingers and she's left staring down into nothing but the cracked furrows of her palms. The older she gets, the more she's coming to understand that this will always be the case, that the world doesn't owe her any explanations. Salt whitens the corners of her mouth. Her tongue slips from between her teeth, dabs at her lips. They're softer and fuller than they were last year. She's been practicing kissing at night in bed, making sure that Welty is asleep, and then slipping the shoulder of her pyjama top down and working her lips against the smooth skin there. Mostly she imagines no one in particular, but sometimes the face of a boy comes into her mind. She has seen him only twice, both times sitting on the wall near the shop in town, his pale ankles showing from beneath the cuffs of his trousers, the laces of his black boots frayed and dangling, his swinging heels knocking loose little showers of mortar. She doesn't know his name, but she thinks about him, and when she does, she feels a warmth spread down her neck and across her chest. She senses that there's something worth taking note of in this summoning of another body, a quiet, elusive power that'll be revealed to her in time, but not quite yet.